Welcome to FitFryMovement.com. In this episode, we're going to take a look at the Air Jordan 5 Wolf Gray colorway that dropped on Saturday, May 14th, 2011. Definitely one of the hottest sneaker releases of 2011. People were waiting for these probably since January or February when they first kind of surfaced online. And then, excitement was really high for these. So let's get a look at the shoe and kind of take a look at the Jordan 5 and what they did to come up with the Wolf Gray colorway that got everybody all excited in 2011. So the first thing we're going to do is take a look at the Air Jordan 5. Definitely one of the most iconic Jordans ever made. 3/4 height, got the clear on the side. One of the first Jordans to come out with icy soles. And these came out originally in 1990. Then they didn't come out again for the rest of the 90s. They dropped some retro releases in 2000. And then again in 06 and 07 they came back with the grapes. And this pair you're looking at right here. And then they did them again in 2011. So what we're looking at is basically every 5 years since 2000, they've retro released some 5s, and I know definitely one of the best sneakers ever made in my opinion. So what they did is they took the Air Jordan 5 and they kind of crossed them with the cool gray, the wolf gray, predominantly gray colorway that's so hot right now. So you can look at a couple ones they looked at for inspiration on that. The first one, probably the New Balance 992. Now, if you don't know about the New Balance 992, these are basically like Air Force Ones in the suburbs. Everybody's got them. Everybody from about 12 to 60 rocks these out in the burbs. I got a pair just in case I decided to throw in a pair of khaki shorts, a dirty white hat. I'll put some Dave Matthews in my headphones. You go check out a lacrosse game. But so the New Balance, predominantly gray colorway. But seriously, what Nike probably looked to in inspiration, probably a little more realistic, is the Air Jordan 4 that came out in 2004. One of the first Air Jordans they did, predominantly gray, obviously a huge hit. The colorway works with just about everything. They stay pretty clean, and it's one of the I think one of the best retro 4s they ever did. And then more recently, if you look at what they did, December 23rd, 2010, just in time for the holidays, they came out with the 11s in a cool gray colorway. And there's an episode of FitFryMovement.com about these if you check back in the archives. But they kind of mashed these up to release the Wolf Gray 5s in May of 2011. So without any further ado, let's get a look at the Wolf Gray 5s. So it's kind of traditional Jordan box. They didn't do the elaborate packaging they did for the 11s back at Christmas. And these are a little bit cheaper too, a little bit lower price point. Those are $175, these are $150. So not as much fanfare for these as there were for the 11s, but these are definitely a hot shoe. They sold out in a bunch of stores. Hopefully you're lucky enough to get yourself a pair like I was. So let's check out what's inside the box. And here it is, one of the hottest shoes of 2011, no doubt. It's a predominant, obviously it's mostly wolf gray. Let's start at the bottom and work our way up. They went with a total ice sole, which is different from the 5s as much as I can remember, because I know back in 06 it was predominantly icy, but not totally icy. But so they went with what they did with this clear sole too, what Jordan Brand's kind of figured out is if you go with a little bit of a blue tint, it doesn't yellow as much. As Jordan 5, 6s are just super hot sneakers. Once they yellow, you kind of look like a deranged homeless person wearing them. And you don't want to avoid that. And they're pretty expensive shoes. You want to rock them for as long as you can. So by going with a little bit of a blue tint, they kind of put off that yellowing. And I think when the blue tint came out on the 11s, there were some haters out there saying they weren't as good as the originals. I think with this colorway though, it actually looks better the way the blue pops off the gray. So then it's actually a definite upgrade for these 5s compared to 5s in the past. Then you got obviously visible air bubble in the midsole. You got the fighter pilot inspired kind of like teeth, if you will. And what they did, that's not just regular white. I don't know if you can see it or not, but there's some speckling on there, some wolf gray speckling, which really works out well. Nice attention to detail. Then as we work our way up, if you get your hands on one of these, you'll see it's kind of like a nubuck upper. It could, I guess, gray leather doesn't always look good on a shoe. And suede, I don't think would have worked on these. So Nike kind of hit the nail right on the head and went with the nubuck kind of finish on this leather, which is probably the right choice. I don't think they could have done a better decision on that. And if you do get your hands on these, hopefully you do, definitely want to get your hands on some suede and nubuck cleaner, and maybe spray these down with some shoe protector before you wear them out, because nubuck's pretty durable, but it's not as durable as leather. So you want to keep an eye on that and keep these looking fresh for as long as you can. On top of that, what they did, obviously, got the clear panel in here, the iconic Jordan 5 clear panel. And what they did, if you get your hands on these and get a closer look, there's contrast stitching. So it's the wolf gray nubuck upper with a real bright white stitching. And normally when I think about contrast stitching, I think back to the early 90s and companies like Karl Kani and Cross Colors, which are kind of outdated, but it really works well on this shoe. You got the lace lock with a white, clear and white lace lock. You have gray laces, which I think really work well with the nubuck upper, and then you have a silver tongue with the white Jordan logo, real bright, just popping off that. So that looks awesome. And got the 23, the 3D 23 that became iconic back when these dropped, about 20, 21 years ago. And then on the back, you have a real bright white Jumpman, which I think looks pretty cool. Now, obviously, some traditionalists are going to not like that it doesn't have the Nike Air logo. But there's rumors of doing that again, but as of right now, that's just a rumor. And so far, the Jordans are still coming out with the Jumpman logo. Hopefully, you already got your hands on these. If not, good luck tracking them down on eBay or a reseller somewhere else. And we'll see you next time. Thanks for checking out FitForOutMovement.com.